Peace, 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 peace. Just finish up at a little gym, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Hey. Peace and bliss to all. Greetings. Give honor to the ancestors known and unknown. Let me tell y'all, so I get major clarity. Major clarity when I'm working out, or just like when I'm really to myself. I get major like insight. I know I can't be the only one. Shout out to those who really realize like some things are for you, and then some things are, are to be, what they say, what is that quote? It just came to me. Some things are meant to be, the game is meant to be told, not sold. I don't know, it could be the other way around, but anywho, where I'm getting to is like, I was getting so much clarity. I was like, I need to just share this message because I was telling to someone, I said the big issue is what you see in the world, or which has happened through years, eons, hundreds of years, is that y'all mess up, y'all fuck up when we confuse the messenger with the message, or confuse the message with the messenger, or just simply that the creator or source can be used through anyone. I mean, all ages, kids, everything. My core belief on a lot of things, or just where I stand with a lot of things, is that the creator is in all things. Like, some of us have an awareness or are able to see things others are not meant to see. And then you also live in a world that some people are angry at that. Some people are upset. And sometimes it's wild because I always remind people is that a lot of y'all get, I guess with the message comes a warning, or comes with sirens. So where I was getting at is this: too many get mad at the messenger and miss the whole fucking message. The message could be so simple as be more aware, be more disciplined, love yourself. It's different for everybody. Then something else that was coming to me when I was in there working out and stuff was, Spirit was like, hey, isn't it amazing how you have people that, let's say somebody could be birthed, because this is all different creeds and colors, no matter the color or whatever, nothing like that. We all different shades, but where I'm getting at is that you can have someone who is born into a legacy, or money or such right there. And you know what their greatest lesson or karma could be? It's to learn that who are you, not only with it, but without it. Some of you can relate to this. I've seen people who have had money. Let's use this, like have had money, but it's not that they lack anything. I'm just going to use the term they lack integrity. Integrity by treating others not only as they want to be treated, but even treating themselves as if the money isn't of importance as well. And not that it's vital, but I mean, it's people that I've known like use, or you may know someone who prioritize their money more than themselves, the value of that. And this is where I'm getting at is that you could say two types of people. Now, for my own demographics, what I almost got consumed in, or what a lot of us probably, depending on your demographics, have got consumed in, is a simple fact of being consumed by another people, or programming of or this person is doing better simply because they have more money, or they have more this, or even a country, or even an environment. And that's so far from the fucking truth, bro. And again, this is perspective. This is my perception on it. This is my truth. Your truth is your truth. Because some people are like, well, what about people in the trenches? What about this? Again, from growing up in survival mode and growing up in environments where I know women who had to do more than they should. Now, you have someone who's born into money or born into something. And again, their greatest lessons or karma or their lesson here is to walk in integrity. It's to come to some type of awareness or awakening that their value is truly within themselves. Then let's say someone such as myself who almost got consumed by a lot of things like chasing the money. You hear this, chase the money, chase the bag, get the bag, get the bag. But now I see the importance of, well, shit, why chase something that's running from you? More importantly, why not be aware of your own, what about your emotional health, your emotional well-being, your physical and mental well-being? Because if you're chasing something that's running from you, common sense tell you your ass gonna get tired. So again, this type of person or people have been programmed to believe chasing the bag, go after your dreams, do all these other things, and learning it from people and being programmed from things that has nothing to do with being fulfilled. Because if you're chasing something that's running from you, where's the fulfillment in that? And the reason I'm speaking on fulfillment is getting to the point of the awareness around no matter what you do, you have people, again, that could have had money, which I've been around, no matter their creed or color, and they know shit about integrity. I've been around people who will treat other people like dirt just because of their status and career. And you know, a lot of their karmas and greatest lessons and their deep insecurities is that their fear is ending up where they are. And that's what a lot of their karma is going to be and their lesson is going to be, because the Most High needs them to realize that you two are no different from them people. Just because of your status, just because of your career. And you see this happening right now. This is the shift that's happening. This is the split that I'm talking about. People are assuming that just because they have this or have that that's going to save them. That's their savior. And again, going back to the people who grew up in survival and their mindset is, completely different, because a lot of them, and this is just from knowing people, they don't have the resources or don't have access to certain things as other people would. And so what other options do they have but to what they call trap, or, and listen to the word trap, literally, what other options are there due to deep programming, due to deep survival, due to the fact of they have to do, by all means necessary, feed their kids, feed their family, because they don't see beyond their circumstances. And so a lot of them, again, I've been speaking about a lot of their way out. When you see, let's say in the darker community, is athletics. There's only three main options, and a lot of them don't even have a game plan after that. Because a lot of us, yes, we're naturally athletic or gifted with, just being with genetics, certain things like that. And we're programmed from the beginning. Literally, we're giving, and I'm going to use a term like a gift and a curse. We can inherit these things that seem like, oh, all you're good for is this. Then again, I'm going to tell y'all something that you probably never heard someone sit down and say. I've been around those people who can have all the money, who can have all that shit, get all that attention, and be so empty inside that they really want to be where you are, because, and it's not that they want to experience your life, they want to feel a sense of being accepted and embraced by the so-called communities that y'all label as black. They want to be a part of, those things where they really do feel accepted. And if it was up to them, It's like I feel like their biggest battle is that they know that they don't fit in, and their biggest fear is that people won't accept them because of their status and career and money and so forth. And that's why I feel like a lot of people battle with. That's why I say it seems like it's two types of people. Those people that I've been around, a lot of them, because people that really have known me, like when I was in the modeling career, even basketball, even art, a lot of things that I've been around, a lot of what people were chasing had a lot to do with superficial, or really, which I don't deny them of or can't really speak on like how they should go about their life. But a lot of it was centered around simply so much of like being inauthentic, unauthentic, or really being having this mask for so long, and now they're faced with the reality that none of this shit matters. You can only keep up the illusion for so long, and eventually, what'll end up happening? Like Pac said, just sit back. People will tell on their fucking self. And people that have faced themselves, their deep shadows and fears and insecurities, there's no such thing as blackmailing them and exposing them. Shit, truth be told, I've already exposed myself to myself. That's what the shadow does. That's what the darkness does. When you really come to know your light, you're the light within the darkness, you will realize how dark the world is, because a lot of people don't have light within them and they're not willing to see it. So they hide behind these superficial shit. They hide behind the illusion that they keep trying to portray and give to the world. And so, I had to explain to someone, which I pretty much knew, that grew up in, they did have the father or mother or somebody who had money and was able to have this position to where they was able to provide for them. But what most people forget about is this. Yes, some people may have had a father or mother there that may have had those things. Not discrediting that at all, because that's the cards they were dealt. But I also tell people, you don't know what the fuck people did to get there. You're living in a country that takes pride in what they've gained is through manipulation, unaliving people, and manipulating masses of people into believing that they're undervalued, unworthy, inconsiderate, ignorant in so many ways. Only for all that shit to be collected like karmic debt, only to backfire. And I experience it daily when I sit and like it's like I'm karma to people, because spirits like I gave you this body, I gave you this look and so forth. And there are talks I have to have with a lot of people to let them know, like, you will never know what it is to be a darker man in a country where the programming is so deep to where people naturally have this fear or phobia of not wanting to accept me just because of that. Not to mention, they don't believe that I'm intelligent. They don't believe I'm worthy of intelligence or even worthy of living a peaceful, abundant, or prosperous life, or just a life of fulfillment without having to chase money, without having to, have the biggest car, do like this or be like other people, or go, play basketball, football, or do some other shit for other people. Like, for what? And I have to have these conversations. See, a lot of us were giving this, whether you want to say body, whatever it is, you're giving your life. You're giving that. Your purpose was given to you. You didn't choose it. It chose you. And some people choose not to walk in their purpose. And that's the thing that, again, when I see people who have a lot of things, but then they begin to really hide who they are when they're around certain people, then that lets me know that, with grace, I have to let go, because that's not who I am. That doesn't reflect who I am. And that's been the process of growing internally as a man. And so, again, you have people that grew up in the trenches and so forth. And one of the deepest things to accept is that you can't undo their karma or their lessons or what they've inherited through their lineage. That's been one of the deepest things I had to accept. It's like, even when I go to the communities, even when you travel back to your hometown, even when you go do certain things, you still cannot like change the mindsets. Meaning like you it's not that you cannot change the mindsets, but you cannot undo the experiences of those kids. Again, it's like you can go through, you can be who you want to be and say all these things and do all these things and walk in integrity and so forth. You got so many kids who never seen a version, I spoke about it on the video, who never seen a version of a healthy man. Some of them only seen men that are dope boys, or most of their years have been consistently of men who haven't walked in integrity. I mean, I'm gonna just be honest. So that being said, it's like that's one of the most challenging things, is to accepting that it's like you can't really undo that. You can't really change it. And that's why being the best version of yourself is the best thing you could ever be. Every day when you get up and showing up as yourself, no matter where you are in your demographics. And like I said, when I was talking to someone about that, it's like almost like if you're in a partnership or in a relationship or whatever, it's so important to really know who you are and the person that you're like connected to and so forth, because everybody's not willing to heal and grow together. That's a lot. That's another difficult thing, that it's not just with you. When you're willing to heal and grow within yourself and expand, that's gonna come with a lot of challenges or deep acceptance that everyone cannot go. Everyone cannot be a leader. Everyone's not willing to lead. And even when they think they're leading, a lot of them are leading to a path of self-destruction. A lot of them are leading, like, the awareness around when you see people pushing certain messages, what, like for instance, even if someone has all this money or whatever it is, let's just use that. It's not even about it. It's like the fact of like, who are they with or without it? The world has been so confused, like to think that these people are leaders just because their status. And it's keeping people in a confused state of not realizing like who's leading your life, who's leading your kids' life. You're basing your decisions, your livelihood, your emotional fulfillment and so forth off of politics, off of what someone else said, off of somebody you know nothing about. Nothing. They're not even a father figure in your life. They're not even a mother figure. They're not even close to you on a daily basis for you to be so consumed by the fact of how you don't even question yourself. And this is what, again, from the old world narrative, I see that people who have accumulated what they perceive as wealth, they're not spiritually, they can be physically wealthy, but spiritually poor. And what I mean by that is that they're so consumed by the physical, and yet they may have these things right here in this human form, but they don't even know who they are at all. And that's simply because you will see, like you know some elders out there, they watch the news all day, every day. And literally will create suffering around a decision that is made in this earthly realm. You know, a decision that this is made during this so-called election, whatever it is. I'm just using this as a narrative. And literally, if you sit back and observe, you will see how the silence says a lot. And I mean simply by the illusion that even this country gives off like it's doing great. Even the illusion that the system pretending like it went back to normal, when literally a lot of us are very much aware that there's a transfer in wealth, y'all. There's a transfer from a physical wealth to a spiritual wealth. But that spiritual wealth is also pertaining and connected to physical wealth. As I said in my previous video, it was like speaking about how everything as we knew it is transforming and evolving. And that has to do with love, how we see ourselves, has to do with our spiritual, emotionally, physical well-being. All of that connects to them. Those of you that know on a deeper level that money is connected to your spiritual well-being. The flow of things, the river bank, the ocean, the currency. And this is spiritual sense, like the simple fact of like how things are connected. Everything is connected. And so what I become to realize is like I had to see both sides, because again, the cards that I was dealt, I was in an environment where, again, having to see the survival mindset, having to see the suffering, and it was on all levels, and seeing the woundedness. And it's no different than when you see people who have money or who live in these gated communities and or the communities where they may not be accepting of people that are darker. It's no different than where like these people that, and this is from experience, and I could just pick up on the energy and see like, yeah, you don't want people in at the same moment. Your sports, your everything that you cheer for, most of people that are darker are a contribution to how how your money or how, everything is connected to how, you like are receiving, or, your intentions or your energy towards that you don't have an issue with. You don't want to deal with these people. That's cool. You don't want to accept people that are darker. Last thing you want for a lot of people like that, and it's not all people, is that their sisters or, their daughters or someone to end up with someone like that. And a lot of that could be people's karma, to lesson that they need to learn that the Most High, the Creator Source, don't care about that. It's only you. You creating that suffering. And again, growing up in demographics where there are people that, demographics I grew up in, I had to tell someone like, if you were to pop up in this hood or something, and people don't want to talk about this shit, but it's real. It's like, it's how could I say this? Being able to experience the fact of like people assuming that just because someone has certain things that they're not going through something is so far from the truth. And I always tell people there's a drunk, there's an addict, there's a whatever it is in everybody's family. Just because they don't tell you, just because you don't see it, doesn't mean that it's not there. That's the same thing. Just because people portray themselves and have all these things doesn't mean there's not something there. Doesn't mean there's not something behind what they've, you don't know what energy, you don't know what they put out there to get that. You don't even know who they unalive. Like it goes so deep. You don't know what karma is following people's lineage. A lot of you don't know what really is following people, and while we're sitting here trying to shame and guilt trip people just because of their demographics, you have no idea how spiritually wealthy they are. And then before we laugh at them, as I was telling a lady, I was like, it amazes me, and this is why I hold everybody accountable, because I'm going to speak on people that are lighter that's in this country or in America. A lot of y'all sit the fuck back and you know what's going on. You know what's going on. And this came up too as well. I've seen women that are lighter, let's just say lighter skin, lighter complex, and they'll sit and hide behind their husband's money, their career, and their status, and know that you are also a part of that karma when it comes to knowing that he probably hasn't walked in integrity through whatever he's done. Knowing that you have opportunities to have been of service to other people that don't look like you. And, now that things are coming full circle, because this is another thing people don't want to accept. There's a lot of different shades. It's like, there's no more brushing stuff under the rug. No one can outrun karma. No one can outrun consequences. There are consequences to a nation that have killed unalive millions of people. There are consequences also to the people that are darker, who have also were prisoners of war, who also put people that are darker in captivity. And these leaders that know that, oh yeah, a lot of y'all are not aware of that. There are consequences to why certain countries are in the state that they're in. And those consequences are no different than what's happening and is happening to the so-called Americas. There are consequences. This is how energy balances itself. The thing about what's so vital as you grow as a human being and learning lessons, karma teaches you lessons, is that no matter where you are, it's the intention behind what you're doing. So this is why I've learned to give myself grace and grace to other people, but also knowing when the importance of standing in my truth, no matter what fucking color you are. I've had to hold my mom, grandma, and other people accountable because of the things that are not of integrity, that are not of truth. I know people who have protected predators. I know people who have protected the people who have molested their kids or certain things. I was very much aware of people who, just because they were being paid up under the table, a lot of things. And what people are forgetting is that there is a universal law. There is something that see all things. I'm not even exempt. And the funny thing about is, like, even being or have been in a community where, like, again, I've had to talk to people that I've done my research, and I was telling someone, like, wow, this was a community or a place that literally was prone on, like, unaliving darker people.